So the first of the 12 basic functions is y is x. Now the next one is y is x squared, which is a parabola facing up. Everybody ought to know that one. Don't need to learn that one. The next one is a cubic. And it is almost a line, but it has a point of inflection. Okay, right here at 0, 0. So it's odd. It is odd because it is symmetric in the 1 and 3. So it's odd. This one is even because it's symmetric about the y. Okay, but this one has a little curve in it. So it's almost like the line, but with a little curve. So that's a cubic. Now the next one you may not know. This is called the reciprocal function, and it's basically a hyperbola. Now, what makes sense that you could remember this one? It can't be 0. Why? X is in the denominator, so I cannot have any of the graph at 0. Now, I always tell, I have some little funny ways of remembering this. If I keep taking these two things and I do this and then I do this, what does that kind of look like? An X. But it can't be this, so I know it has to be 1 over. So that's just a crazy little way that I remember the reciprocal function, 1 over X. The next one we know, square root of X, and I taught you that it looks like a square root.
Oh.
I love it when people grasp my silly little analogies. Okay, so the only one here that you may not know so far is this one, but I think you can remember that one. Now, the next one you don't know, but I'm going to give you a way of remembering it. This is the exponential function. It does like that. Now everybody look up here. If I were to draw this and keep going, what would I make?
An
E. So it is y equals e to the x. Now, the other thing that I want you to understand with exponential is it's like a rocket shooting up. When you start getting older and you start investing money, you would love for your investments to go up exponentially. That means you put them in there and it's like, it takes off and you start making lots of money real quick. You want an exponential function. You don't want a log function, which is coming up next. Okay, so this one shoots off like a rocket. All right, it goes up, but it also turns into an E. So the next one is the natural log function, and I'll have to give Davis Bronner credit for something here. He saw something here that I haven't seen, because somebody's like, Miss Knight, have you thought of a way to...
Turn it sideways, looks like a
Well, now he saw it like this. This is your L, and that's your N. See, they're not connected. Not like square root. Square root is connected. That's connected to this axis. These are not connected. Also, something interesting about the the natural log function, let me take my blue away, this is interesting if you'll read underneath it. You do not want your investments to go up with a natural log function because it says if each one of these were an inch this way and an inch this way, and that's actually supposed to be a 1 there. It goes through the 1, not the 2. It would take this going out 2.5 miles to go up even 1 foot above the x-axis. Like that's how slowly it grows, like way past Walmart before it even gets 1 foot, like up to here. So you don't want that kind of investment. So while this one's going up and this one's going up, these two, I'm going to tell you, you'll get confused. But if you make the E or if you see the L and the N, maybe you won't be confused. All right, now, y'all have also not seen sine and cosine, but these are not hard. Sine starts at 0. All right? The difference between sine and cosine is that sine starts at 0.
Oh.
Right there.
Let's see.
0 sin in your life.
Yes. That's impossible, but yes.
Okay, cosine, everybody. At 0, it is 1. So that's the difference between the sine and the cosine.
So does this already.
Okay? So those are the sine and cosine. Now the next one you should know, absolute value. Value for V for value.
So you
Or-
can just write it like that.
Yep,
instead of
that's the
calling
way
it
I want it. I want it like that. I do not want the names. I will count off. Or you can take the 2 bars and go whoop and make a V. Okay? However you want to remember it. And then the last 2 you probably want to put stars by. You'll remember it because the greatest integer is a funny looking one. It's also known as the step function. Because obviously it looks like steps, right? Okay. This is greatest integer, so y equals INTX. You'll remember that. The last one, I'm going to show you what you're going to miss on the last one. The last one is known as the logistics function. It has a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0 and y equals 1. Oops. That's not a very good looking. That's awful. But anyway, y'all get the point. Here's what you'll do. It's 1 over 1 plus e. You put a plus here. So if you already used a plus, you need to use a minus. So what you'll miss here is you'll forget that there's a minus right there. It's 1 over 1 plus, but once you use a plus, you have to use a minus for the next sign. That's just the way I remember it. All right, questions?
What's their quiz Thursday?
The quiz Thursday is just telling me these names. That's it. So you can make your little note cards. I wouldn't work on a Quizlet, I don't think. I don't know. There might be Quizlets out there of the 12 basic functions. I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
So all of them are the same as on this sheet except for the absolute value? Like that's how you want us to write it?
Yeah, I want just the bars X. You can put ABS X too, but just don't write out absolute value. I don't want identity. I don't want squaring, cubing, just that. So yeah,
There's
that's
no like application. It's just memorization, right?
yeah. Because if I can get you to know these 12 basic functions, like for instance, I know exactly what this looks like. I know what that looks like. My parent function is an x squared. I've stretched it by 3, which makes it skinny. Okay? My doctor told me a few years ago, Miss Knight, you can either lose weight or you can grow 5 inches. You know, the growing 5 inches wasn't happening. They couldn't stretch me. So it makes me skinnier, but if I grew, I'm shifting right 2 and up 3. So I've got a skinnier graph of a parabola. So if I can get you to know the parent functions, and then I can get you to know what to do with these transformations, which y'all had, this is stuff that you've had before, then you don't have to have a grapher to know what these look like, because you may not have them when you get to your college classes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm fixing to put y'all in groups, and you're going to do examples 1 through 4. So Chloe, if you'll go over there with Caleb and Amy, okay, Grace Ann and Melanie, and then you 3, okay. And I'm going to give you about, I'm going to check back in about 10 minutes.